Good morning. Today we will be discussing the preference assessment given to a student named Billy. We used a paired stimulus preference assessment. There's many other kinds of preference assessments. This one we felt best suited Billy's abilities in the classroom with preferred stimuli and just our general knowledge of Billy as a child, Billy as a learner. A paired stimulus preference assessment is when you have a list of stimuli. In this case, we use 16 different stimuli, and you pair them against each other. So if Billy was sitting where I am, you would put stimulus 1 to the left, about 6 inches from him, and then you'd put stimulus 2 to the right, another 6 inches from him, so they're about a foot apart. You would repeat this process over and over until you've had every stimuli paired against each other. We try to make them equal on left and right. So we'd have stimulus 1 and 2, and then we'd have stimulus 2 and 1. So there's no side preference. All in all, this took about 120 trials. When we present Billy with the two objects, so if they're here and here, if he chooses this preference, it gets circled, we move on. He plays with it for about 15 seconds, we remove them, we start our next pairing. If we present both and neither is chosen, we remove both, give Billy a little wait time, reintroduce both stimuli to him, let him interact with each, remove them again, wait a few more seconds, introduce both, and then see if a preference is chosen. If again no preference is chosen, we just mark non-selection. There's no limit as to how many non-selections he can have. If he's not interested, he's not interested. We can't make him interested, and it's not a big deal. We just move on to our next trial. Of these 120 trials that we presented to Billy, 117 produced a selection, while 3 did not. Those 3 were a food versus food, another food versus food, and a food versus book. Based on just that, without looking at any other data, we can already tell that Billy may not be interested in an edible stimuli. The 16 stimuli that were presented to Billy were money, cell phone, gift card, laptop, camera, iPad, TV, coffee, cake, M&Ms, pizza, book, chocolate, chips, apple, and trail mix. We completed all of this, all 120 trials, and after the 120 trials, we rank how each one stood up against the other, essentially. So you create kind of like a graph, and you just chart, okay, he chose trail mix 0 times, he chose money 15 times. And with that, you can create a little tally chart presented like that. So it's easy to see which one he chose, where their ranking is. As you can see, sometimes you have a double ranking. So we have 1, 3, 3, 4, 5, 7, 7, 9, 9, 11, 11, 13, 13, 14, 15, 16. You always err with the average. So instead of having a 2 and a 3, we just have a 3 because they were chosen the same amount of times. Based on this, we can make a graph, which looks like this, which is a lot easier visually to see which his preferences are. After looking at his preferences and analyzing the results, it appears that Billy is not interested in edible stimuli, which is what we gathered from his non-selections. He also rarely chose any food items, not just the apple, not just the chips. Any food items were rarely selected. Highly preferred items were anything of monetary value, so directly giving him money, providing him with a gift card, things like that. Also, any time with technology. It could be cell phone, laptop, camera, TV, so any different modality of technology was also highly preferred. We write this in our little analysis here. So it says he prefers monetary value, he prefers technology, and specifically does not prefer the edibles. The edibles also include coffee because it's a drink, you consume it, it's an edible. With these results, what we do is we then see if any of his highly preferred items can become a reinforcer. We do this because I can perform a paired stimulus preference assessment with all food. For Billy, we already know he doesn't like food, but say I did perform one with all food. Would he have a highly preferred? Probably. Would it be a motivator? Probably not. He doesn't like food as a reward, but he will choose one if he had to. So we have to include a variety of different things in our paired assessment just to see which one of those things would become a motivator. We could start off by using money since it's the most highly preferred item. So if we presented Billy with a stimulus, immediately after offering him a trial. So if we said, here's 3 letters, A, B, C, which one's A? Billy picks A, we immediately provide him with money, and we start to see an increase of behavior, then it becomes a reinforcer. So again, we would have to do this several times. So if we just started giving him letters and, here's our 5th trial of which letter is this, which letter is this, which letter is this, and he starts to disengage, the money is no longer a motivator. So we have to use our wordage carefully when saying reinforcer versus highly preferred item. The difference being that if it's not proven to increase a behavior, it's not a reinforcer, it's just simply a highly preferred item. So going back to what I said about we could do an all food preferred preference assessment, if we did and we found that, let's say, oranges were the most highly preferred, and we do not see any direct results with that being an increase of behavior, it's not a reinforcer, and we need to go back, reevaluate, look at other stimuli we can present. These paired stimulus assessments should be done about every couple of months just to make sure that his interests are still in line with what they were, and also make sure that we're being the most effective in rewarding him to create increased behavior. Thank you.